You know what time it is. It is Saturday morning. It is 9 o'clock. And we are in the Barbershop. It's your boy G Bush back again with another episode of the Barbershop. And we're going to cook today, boys and girls. We got a lot of stuff to go over, man. There's been a bunch of different things that's happened this last week. And we're going to break it all down here on the Barbershop. Hey, listen, this is more and more dudes just running around here, quarterbacks. We're going to talk about it. I don't know why people in Saudi, I don't know why we got to talk about the quarterbacks. We keep talking about the quarterback. No, we're going to talk about them because we haven't got one and you need to find one. And there's other legends that have been talking about the Browns quarterback situation, preferably with one Shedeur Sanders. We'll talk about that. Legends. I'm not talking about, we heard from Bernie Kosar. We didn't heard from Drew Bledsoe. We didn't heard from Kurt Warner. We'll talk about Willis and all of that coming up in this episode. And then we'll get to this. Coach Prime, there was a question that was on 92.3 The Fan. Shout out to Anthony Lima and my boy, King Carmen. They asked specifically about Coach Prime. When they asked about Coach Prime, it spawned something. Said, how did Coach Prime become controversial? How did that even come down? How did that even come down the pipeline? And why is that for some people that's an issue? We'll talk about that as well. We'll do a deep dive into that because I think that plays in a role how people are just like, oh, Shedeur can't play because his dad is kind of polarizing. I don't understand how that happened. We'll take a deep dive in that and we'll get into that. Then Kevin Stefanski made the media tour. I don't know whether they got another person in Berea right now that's doing their PR, but Kevin Stefanski was on 92.3 The Fan. Kevin Stefanski was on ESPN Cleveland. He made the radio run, and he talked about the quarterback situation as well, given what his game plan is for the Cleveland Browns going into training camp. We'll get into that. And then we got a fun trade to talk about, potentially fun trade. Bill Simmons, shout out to Bill Simmons. He had something on his podcast a couple of days ago. Evan Mobley for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know if it works financially, but we'll talk about that. We got some clips from that. And I'll ask you, would you make the trade? Would you make the trade? And we'll do a deep dive into both of those players' backgrounds, bios, and all the above and what they bring to the table. But first, we got to get to the intro. It's the Barbershop Saturday. Let's get it going right here on the Barbershop.
Quality, service, atmosphere. You're next in the chair. Feel at home in the Barbershop. G. Bush offers a fresh cut on sports. The Barbershop isn't just grooming for guys. It's culture. It's lifestyle. It's sports. And it's now the Barbershop is giving the sports scene a sheer shave and shine. Join the makeover now. Follow Garrett Bush at GBush91 on Twitter.
Yep. Let me get myself together. Let me sip my coffee. Let me get myself ready to go as we get ready to take you from 9 to 11 right here on the Barbershop. G. Bush doing the thing. Listen, it's a couple segments in here. Let me get me a cup straight. There you go. It's a couple segments in here. Some people are not gonna like it. They're not gonna like it. I'm bringing the fire. I'm bringing the truth. I'm bringing the heat. And we're ready to do it the only way G. Bush knows how to do, giving you all truth, no chasers. That's what we're doing. All truth, no chasers. Let's get into this thing right now. So first and foremost, I'll be reading the comments. Somebody told me, "Why do you read the comments?" I said, "Bro, come on, man. I'm not that big. I ain't afraid to get in the comment section. I still be replying to people sometimes. I be telling people, y'all should be following me. Like if you're a person that likes to troll, I'm still one of the dudes that give all the trolls an opportunity to troll their best lives. I give you an opportunity to troll with G. Bush. I go back and forth with y'all. I talk, I tweet. It's interactive. This is the reason why I called it the Barbershop. When you go to the Barbershop, everybody get the floor in the Barbershop, even the dude that don't know what he's talking about. Oh, you just got to be entertaining. And be like, man, that boy over there, man, he be talking crazy and reckless over there. But he funny, though. Some of the stuff he be saying is true, though. I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. That's why we call it the barbershop over here. Excuse me, but today we're gonna get to something. The first time we talk about this all the time, there's a little stragglers, and we'll figure this out with some stragglers. I don't understand why people be coming up having these little sneak comments like it's really moving somebody. Well, G. Bush, you said you like Deshaun Watson, and now you like now you're on the Shedeur Sanders bandwagon. So you're a clown. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut your mouth. See how we starting this off early? Let's start this off early. First and foremost, let's do revisionist history, boys and girls. When Deshaun Watson was traded to the Cleveland Browns, there were multiple teams who wanted him. Multiple. The Miami Dolphins, the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, the New Orleans Saints. Multiple people wanted Deshaun Watson. Every single host in the city said that Deshaun Watson was good. Because guess what? At the time when they got him, he was. You act like Deshaun Watson at one point in time was not a top 3 quarterback in this league by all prognosticators. So when you sit up here and try to talk about, oh, well, you like so-and-so, you're disqualified from having a listen, that little Jedi mind tricks works on everybody else. I can say the same thing about Baker Mayfield because everybody liked Baker Mayfield. Then what? Everybody like Tim Couch, and then what? You see, in this game, it ain't my job to throw the football for nobody. It's my job to tell you what you're doing when you get on the field. And if somebody gives you new information, I think you would be an idiot not to believe it. Why would I say there was nothing that Deshaun Watson was doing that showed that he was not balling? Nothing. Prior to him being on the field. Then after 3 years of work, after 3 years of not performing, after 3 years of being hurt or not on the field, it'd be stupid to look at that body of work and say, well, you know what? It didn't work out. But in terms of trying to act like you doubling down, like somebody didn't know what they was talking about, like somebody was just off key, off put, all that good stuff. No, that never happened. At the end of the day, everybody was talking about Deshaun Watson, and everybody thought it was a good idea until it wasn't a good idea. And the equivalent factors of how that plays with Deshaun Watson versus Shedeur Sanders is a nothing burger. At the end of the day, they are not the same people. They don't got the same personality. They don't got the same upbringing. They don't got the same college career. They have nothing to do with one another, except for the fact that they happen to be black quarterbacks. That's it. That's the only thing I can think of. They don't throw the ball the same. They don't got the same mechanics. They don't even got the same way that they approach the game of football. Deshaun Watson plays out of structure. That's where he finds it. That's where he's comfortable. Shedeur Sanders is a pocket passer all day, likes to get rid of the football. And as you can tell, we got 3 different quarterbacks to talk about it. Also, we're going to debunk this immediately right now. Why are you guys talking about this guy? Why are you talking about a 5th-round pick so much? Why are you talking about a 5th-round pick so much? See, it's one of them self-fulfilling prophecies. And I said this on the Ultimate Browns, right? Once you get to the 5th round, right, and you take Shedeur Sanders, and Shedeur Sanders is on the field, Shedeur Sanders is part of the Cleveland Browns. The fact that everybody is hung up on this 5th round stuff shows me more about you than about him. Shows me more about the way you look at the game and the way you evaluate things to him. It might be a little personal. Because I'm confused. Everybody, when you get drafted by the Cleveland Browns, you're on the Cleveland Browns, right? And then I talk about it all the time. People say, well, listen, you know, this article that came out, go back and check out my work. Go back to the Ultimate Browns. There was an article Mary Kate came out and said, Kenny Pickett will be getting the most reps. And she repeated again that they passed on Shedeur Sanders like 6 times or whatever. She likes that quote. She's entitled to it. But here's my quote. Let's go ahead and talk about it. My quote is this. If I go and I say, you know what? My goal is I want to find the best cheesecakes in the city. Like, man, that's why you fat, G. Bush, but that's neither here nor there. When I talk about my weight right now. You want to go find the best cheesecakes in the city, right? So you go to one place, you get the cheesecake, you buy it, you go across town, you get another cheesecake. Then you go, go to the city, get another cheesecake. That's 3 cheesecakes if you're counting. And then finally, you go, it's a spot right around the corner by your house. You get the last cheesecake. You get all of the cheesecakes sitting right here, right? You get all of them here. You taste them, you can say, I'm going to taste these to see which one of these cheesecakes I am going to eat first. I'm going to eat this cheesecake based on my taste of these little cheesecakes. I got 4 of them. Let's try them. I try the first one. It's okay. Try the second one. It's a little better. Try the third one. That cheesecake, third one. All right, I see what you're doing with that third one. You try the 4th cheesecake. The 4th cheesecake is hitting. You like, yeah, I'm going to eat this one first. I'm eating this one. This got the, right here, that boy right there got the most potential. Let me get into that. And you decide to take that one. Now you say, G. Bush, what does this have to do with football? Why are we doing the mental gymnastics on who the Browns acquired first? I understand that they acquired Kenny Pickett first. All right, then they got who? Flacco. Okay, then you drafted Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd and Shedeur in the 5th. It's all been documented. What point does it have in which they brought him? They're all yours. You get no extra credit points for participating in some hierarchy. If I want to find the best cheesecake and I want to go and taste, why would I then just have to use and eat the first cheesecake because I bought it first? And then I have to go eat the second cheesecake because that's the order I bought it in. And then the 3rd cheesecake, listen, I gotta keep it consistent. Let me go ahead and eat the 3rd. And then finally, by the time you get to the 4th cheesecake, you might be full. Why would you not start with the one that you feel tastes the best? Because at the end of the day, they're all your cheesecakes. You get no extra credit point for going in this imaginary pecking order. That is contrived. So I'd be confused why people still be talking about order and where you are. You are here now. Remember what Andrew Berry said, it's not about where you got drafted at. It's about what you do in the building. And I got a couple other things too. Are we going to believe the guys? We going to believe if you guys are going to say you love Stefanski and you're going to, if Andrew Berry and Stefanski like a person, if Andrew Berry and Stefanski pick a person, I'm just going to ride with it. Y'all be lying. You know why? Because every time Stefanski and Berry say something that you don't agree with, they put them in the situation that they're clowns too. Oh, so you're only clowns when I don't agree. Okay, so we'll get to that too. We'll come back and talk about it. But here's what I like to do. 500 people in here, overall 3 formats. Hello to Facebook, hello to UCSS, Barbershop building in the gang in the building, and we on Twitter right now. Hit that like button for you boys. Share this. Let's get it popping. Now, here's what I do. What I learned that I got to do is I can't just come up here and tell y'all stuff. Because when I just come up here and tell y'all, kind of like I told y'all what it was with Shedeur Sanders, in minicamp, and I said people was bending the truth a little bit. I said, I don't know what they're thinking about it. Before Zach Jackson said it, I said it. And when I said it, it was like, I don't know if we could do that with G. Bush. He's emotional. No, I call it entertaining. He's emotional. I need to hear from somebody else. But then when you hear it, now all of a sudden it's moving. Remember what I told you. Remember what I came out. Let's get to the quarterbacks. Bernie Kosar was on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Drew Bledsoe was on Colin Cowherd. And Kurt Warner was on a podcast. We also saw Keyshawn Johnson. We also saw a former general manager talk about the Browns quarterback situation. And there are starting to be a groundswelling of names, people with credibility, people who've played the position, people who have seen this thing happen before that are predicting, that are saying that the best guy in that room and the guy that they're projecting to take the job will be Shedeur Sanders. That's what the projection is. And a lot of people are like, wow, where was this at during the combine? Wow, this is the first time I'm hearing about this. And the reason I come at this from a situation that I try to be, for me, people say, why do you keep talking about this? Why do you keep talking? You're doing this situation where you know, why can't you just let it go? Here's the reason. In order for people to get a fair opportunity at doing something, I don't know if you guys know it or not, the media can sway a lot of different things. Public opinion and sentiment is a funny thing because you can get 75 stories that come out and say this every single day. 75 stories with same people saying the same stuff with no backing, with no verifiable facts, just opinion, and it looks a certain way. So then when the competition starts, it's looking like, oh, well, we can dismiss this guy over here. No, I'm one of the people that would have took him at number 2. I'm one of the dudes that would have took him at 33. So what the heck you think I'm going to talk about if you got him in round 5 and you still need a quarterback? I don't know why y'all be trying to scare me off these positions. It don't be working. But I got to give you another alternative. Let's go ahead and give you the other alternative right now. Let's drop this video. You know how I do. I got the receipts. Time for the receipts. Let's listen at these quarterbacks that have been franchise quarterbacks. These guys have been faces of franchises. These guys that know about quarterback play, and listen to the way they talk about this dude. Listen to the way that they talk about the Cleveland Browns quarterback room, because that's what we talking quarterbacks today. Let's get to it. Let me get this together. Here we go. Let me take this down. A
lot of traits. He doesn't.
Let's start that off right now. You see what he said? Played much better against much better teams. One of the knocks is he didn't play anybody. He didn't play anybody. Okay, he played USC, UCLA. Come on now, he played Utah. He's played multiple teams. The people acting like he ain't played nowhere and ain't putting up no numbers, which is patently false. So let's go ahead and start with that. You see how the narrative be flip-flopping now? The same arguments for is the same arguments against, right? Let's continue to keep pushing. I want to get to what he says, what Drew Bledsoe got to say about it. Talking about, you see how he talking about? Now, this is a quarterback, Drew Bledsoe, one of the best, one of the guys that can spin it like no other. Big arm. I watched Drew Bledsoe. Watched him. You see what he said? Throw it in anticipation. So let's start building these characteristics and these traits right now, because nobody else is going to tell you every time you keep looking, because I know y'all searching. I know y'all searching. See, we don't do narratives over in the barbershop. What we actually do is I'm trying to show you better than I could tell you. Let's start building the characteristics. Drew Bledsoe talks about his ability to throw with anticipation. We ain't heard no beat reporter say nothing about that. He keeps hearing 5th round pick. I want to know what he does well and what he doesn't do well. You heard what Drew Bledsoe said. I enjoy watching him play, and the thing that I don't think you can teach is how to be able to stand in there and take a beating, and he got his tail kicked. He thinks he's going to do well. This is just one person, just one quarterback. But what I want to try to get to is we're supposed to be educating the public about what is his skill set and what to expect when you see him on the football field. Not talking about, I don't know why we have to keep talking about it because it's your damn job. What are you doing? Go get a real job if you don't want to talk about the guys that's on the field. I'm confused by that line of thinking. This is what we do for a living. We get stuff, we break it down, we talk about it. That's our jobs. Not to come out here and play tabloid football like we continually do. Who's breaking it down? I'm asking you a question. Who is saying what he's really good at? So what I'll do is I'll tell you, and then I'll tell you what I think, and then I'm going to go ahead and back that up by what the pros are saying. Let's continue to keep it pushing. I told you, I know it's 766 here, and I know somebody is tight. Don't get tight so quick. We got another hour and a half to go.
Former NFL GM Scott McCloud's take on Shedeur Sanders.
I think he'll be the best quarterback out of this draft. Watch his response every time he came off the field and how he got with the offensive linemen, how he got with the running backs, how he got with the receivers. And he just ran the show. He has the demeanor to be an NFL football player. And I'm telling you, you wait and see.
You won't believe this. Check out Keyshawn Johnson talking about Shedeur Sanders.
He's the best quarterback in the room. I have a PhD in quarterbacking, and I say it here loud and clear. Nobody knows quarterback play like me. I don't give a damn what nobody say, because I done played with a bunch of them.
14.
He's better than Dillon Gabriel. He's better than Kenny Pickett. He's better than an old Joe Flacco that's going to give you 3-4 games but can't give you 17. He's better than that.
It's a valid point.
And Deshaun Watson is, he's rehabbing, so he's out in the back room somewhere. That's the way I look at it.
My evaluation was the most accurate quarterback I thought in this draft. When he sets his feet, when he's comfortable in the pocket, and he delivers the football, the ball goes where he wants it to go. And, this was a quarterback that was asked to have to win football games for his team. I don't think that can be overstated, is that, you go to a team, it's a really good team, and you become a complementary piece. Yeah, your stats might be a little bit better. Your win-loss record might be a little bit better. But to be asked to win games for your team, to have to go out there and throw the ball every single week for your team to be successful, and that's with, an offensive line that struggled over the last couple of years. I think there's a lot to like about Shedeur Sanders. He wasn't a fifth-round prospect, in my opinion.
I loved going into the draft. So you guys heard me talk on the show about Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders.
Right.
And both of them having a calmness of their feet and their body. And we talk about arm strength and throwing, but the ability to be calm with guys around us. I even think we used the example of Tyvis this close to me. In the days when I was actually good, I would be able to not be bothered at all that you're coming and you're going to wipe me out. Well, it was amazing to me watching Cam and Shedeur in college, how they already have that confidence and ability, pocket presence to hang this close to a defensive tackle, Tyvis, and not be affected, keep your feet calm, and execute a throw. So I loved watching that coming in. I was super surprised he fell that far like he did.
Let's do the math. We almost done here. He's another guy. Legend. Bernie Kosar. Cleveland. Knows a little something about quarterbacks. You know what he said? That's the second, third guy that said, I'm surprised. I don't know what the heck was going on. Let's finish this exercise.
I'm like just any fan. I'm looking forward to seeing him play, truthfully.
Yeah. Shout out to my people in there. All this was courtesy of the individuals on the screen. So if you guys are watching this back home, make sure you check those guys out. There's a lot of people doing Browns content. I want to give them a big up and a shout out for their content. Make sure you support those. Give those guys some likes over there. Make sure you check out their content as well. So we appreciate them as well. Listen, we're getting back to it. And one of the things that we want to talk about here is you're seeing quarterbacks talk about quarterback play. And that's what I like to see. Bernie Kosar talks about his ability to stand in the pocket while there's a lot of stuff in guys like me who play defensive end, defensive lineman. What our job is to do is obstruct the vision, obstruct the rhythm, obstruct the timing of a quarterback. And that, whether that's getting your hands up, whether that's being in the quarterback's face, whether that's feeling pressure around his ankles, around his feet, so he can't step up in the pocket. All of those things are just as good as a pass knockdown, because this game is about millimeters and centimeters, right? If a quarterback is off 6 inches and it's cold outside and you can't get enough on the football, that turns into a tip football, that turns into an incomplete pass, that turns into a third down, and we off the field drinking Kool-Aid. They've already shown the ability to do that, according to Bernie Kosar. When you talk about Kurt Warner, you talk about what Kurt Warner talked about. He said, listen, when he gets his feet set, so think about this. This is a correlation here. Follow along. Bernie starts talking about the foundation. That's the footwork. What you need to do to put yourself in a good position with your footwork and balance to throw the football. Kurt Warner then says, see, this is layers. There's levels to this, fellas. Kurt Warner says, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks I've seen once he gets his feet set. So, feet, check. When you get your feet set, accuracy, check. And then Drew Bledsoe talks about being in the pocket, knowing that you're going to get hit. And still having the mental toughness and physical toughness to stand down and stare a defender in the eye and know I'm going to get smashed, but I'm still going to deliver. You know what that is? That is a quintessential pocket passer. That's how you win football games in the intermediate game. And go check out Bernie Kosar with this too, because I think he brought up a very valid point. Shedeur Sanders or whoever wins this job is not going to win this football job, because let me break this down a little bit too. I may like Shedeur Sanders all you want. I may think he has a bunch of upside. And for all those other people out there, and the Colorado aunties and the grandmas and everywhere in the world, and if you're a Cleveland Browns fan all over the place, you know how I give it up. Or if you don't, I'm gonna let you know. I'm married to the facts. Married to what's happened on the field. We can like Shedeur all he wants. He's the one who has to prove it. He's the one who has to throw the football. And guess what? He told you that himself. Brian preaches that. His father preaches that. So I don't know why people are think that he's going to be given anything. He's going to earn it fair and square on the football field, and that's the only way competitors want it. I want to earn your viewership. I don't want you to just come over here and, hey, I'm with this big organization. No, you got to earn it. I got to put that work in. I got to be consistent. That's what we all got to do. And that's what he's telling you he has to do. But Bernie Kosar said this thing, and go back and watch Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I think it was a really good episode. Bernie talks about the person who's going to win this quarterback battle is going to win the intermediate game. It's not going to be the check down Charlies. It's not going to be that. A lot of people think that Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry are going to pick the guy who protects the football the most. That's a cliche answer. Let's drill down on what that means. Cliche answer, because you need to keep the football. You can't force the ball downfield. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry know one thing. If you cannot make the intermediate pass, if you can't make the 15 to 25 yard intermediate pass, that's where you eat, boys and girls. That is the table in which you eat off. The deep ball, that's dessert. And it don't happen like that. People is taking dessert away from even Patrick Mahomes. Go back and look at the statistics. They got 2 high safeties back there. They are keeping everything in front of them. They're not letting you get one play scores 60, 70 yards. That is dessert. That is the shiny toy in the back. They ain't letting you get to that. The check down Charlie, that's junk food. That's empty calories. That stuff that look good, but after an hour or two, you crashing. That bag of Cheetos will look good, but in 5 or 10 minutes, you're like, I shouldn't have ate that bag of Cheetos. Check downs is imaginary and they're fickle, and they'll lie to you. You can check down. I'm gonna throw this right here. Let me throw this down to this back. Let me check it down right here. Yep, wide open. And guess what? It's gonna be 3rd and 6. With pass rushers coming after you. You can't win doing that. The wholesome meat and potato meals, the ones that give you good nutrition, the ones that'll make you full, the ones that'll fill you up, the ones that'll satisfy you, is the throws that's from 15 yards to 25 yards. That is where you get the most bang for your buck. Because those are the throws that when you make them, you make people say, I can't be back here in this all these people at the line of scrimmage. I need to get some guys in here. That's where your play action works, because now you can still run the ball. You can still play action. You can still do a lot of different things. Screen game works in that. But the 15 to 25 yard intermediate passing game is the game in which you have to win. The quarterback who throws the ball the best between that yardage is going to be the guy who's going to get the first shot. Not where you was taken, not because your name is Kenny Pickett, not because you got long hair and the Steelers drafted you, not because you're Joe Flacco and you done some things before, not because you're Dillon Gabriel and you're in the 3rd round, and not because you're Shedeur Sanders, and people may think that you got a lot of fame. The game is going to be won on the field, and that is the little exercise and nuggets that people is not getting. And Kevin Stefanski talked about it. He talked about it, right? He talked about the situation and why and how things are going to move with that. And as a matter of fact, you know what? I had this all laid out. Let me get this out of here. Let me remove that. I had this all played out. And then I decided to change it up in the middle of the thing. I'm going to change this up. Before we get to the next one, we're going to take some calls, some chats. I would say calls. I'm still doing the radio thing. 973 people in here, wherever you're at. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Stop playing around with me. I want to go to Kevin Stefanski making his rounds a little bit. I was going to go to the Coach Prime topic, but I want to get to Kevin Stefanski, what he said, because it's funny to me how everybody wants to believe Stefanski until he says something, and then you don't agree with it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Stefanski doesn't know he's a clown. Why? Because he didn't agree with you? Let's keep it pushing. I'm going to get to some of these comments, too. Let me see. We already in the building. Let me get to this. Chantel, how you doing? Oh, boy. G. Bush, Kevin Stefanski said in an interview that the Colorado front office was just in Cleveland last week to meet with their front office about ideas. I don't see, I think that's it. I don't see other front offices meeting with the Cleveland Browns. What's your opinion? I think that, coaches all the time do this. Like, coaches are individuals who like to share information. They like to get information from one another. And what they want to do is they want to have concrete ideas, and they want to cultivate some ideas. And I say concrete that are not concrete, right? So what I mean by that is coaching is about adaptability, adapting to circumstances, adapting to personnel, adapting to the way the NFL plays the game offensively, defensively. So the best thing that you can do is you always want to be continually learning, right? If you work in a corporate atmosphere, they do continuing education on different things. Sometimes if you're a lawyer or a doctor, you have to do continuing education. If you're a financial advisor, you have to be up on the new laws and regulations with the SEC and all those other things, right? You always want to be learning, always want to be innovative. And the best way to do that is to pick other people's brains, to go see what other people are talking about, right? So I think that's a part what Kevin Stefanski is doing is this exchange of thoughts. I thought he did a really good job of sitting there talking about it. And we'll get to this after this segment. We'll talk about, I think this is a great question because it segues me right into what I want to get to with Kevin Stefanski talking about what he's doing and his ideas on training camp. So I think coaches are always going to do that. And I always encourage coaches in the summertime to be out and about, going to other teams' training camps, going to other front offices, and exchanging ideas about how it is that they come up with their game plan, making it their own. I believe in taking a lot of stuff from different people and then putting your twist on it, right? Let's see. XP Gaming, I thank you so much for the super chat. By the way, Chantel, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Jeremy Long, G. Bush, Shedeur starts Flacco, then Gabriel, pick it to the Saints. Shedeur has a leg up on the system. He's learning from Flacco to get that fake down. I thank you for bringing this up, Jeremy. You know what I like so much about what Shedeur said? And this isn't all about, just talking about Shedeur Sanders. I like the dynamic in the quarterback room. My dad said this. He told me this at one point in time. He said, don't be so quick to dismiss some information or some game that somebody can drop to you. Don't be missing the game. And I said, what do you mean by that? You know what I'm saying? He told me this early on. He said, even your enemy, even a person you don't agree with, can give you a couple of nuggets of information that may change your life or save your life. I said, hold on, man, that's kind of deep. Even my enemy, he said, hey, you listen, be always willing to listen and keep an open mind from anybody. Anybody, you can take what a child says and flip that and be like, wow, that was, even sometimes out of mouth of children, you can get some wisdom. And so what I like what Kevin Stefanski said is he said, I love our quarterback room. He even threw Deshaun Watson in here. Contrary to popular belief, Deshaun Watson is one of the best guys on the whiteboard in the game. Now, the problem is sometimes your knowledge from the whiteboard doesn't transfer over from the mental to the physical execution of something. It doesn't mean that you don't understand the game, right? That's the difference. And when Kevin Stefanski was making his tour run, he said, look, I love our quarterback room. I love it. You know why? Because I'm seeing Joe Flacco in there. I'm seeing Shedeur Sanders in there. I'm seeing Dillon Gabriel in there. The two young pups is in the back just sitting there soaking up the game. They quiet. They ain't saying nothing. They in here. Deshaun Watson is pointing stuff out. You talk about Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett. You be a dummy not to sit back there and soak up no game from guys that been here before. You crazy. That's the way life works. Come on, man. If you're doing manual labor, if you were working on an assembly line, if you was working in a factory, you always know it's that old dude that been in the factory for 40 years. His name is Joe. Refused to retire because he ain't got nothing else to do. He been there 40 years. He done seen every piece of equipment come in there. He know when to line down, how to get it back up. He know how to get a shortcut and sanding this down and moving this. These guys know it. Joe is he got a quick temper because he don't like new people, because new people mess stuff up. You know how it is. He come in, where's my tools? Who moved my set? Who moved? Listen, guys, when I come in here, don't be having this crap around, man. I want my setup the way it was set up. It was that for a reason. He come off a little extra, but Joe got game. He know everything in there. If he had better people skills, he might be your boss. He don't want to deal with all that bureaucracy. He just want to run the line. You'd be crazy not to get some of that game. And that's exactly what Shedeur, Dillon Gabriel, and everybody doing. Getting some of that game. Hey, the Ashanti mom, how you doing? I appreciate you so much for the super chat. Former NFL QBs are the experts, not Mary Kay. They know what needs to be successful as an NFL quarterback is standing on what they know. #respect. My job is this. Mary Kay's job is to report and write as what she sees. That's the beautiful thing about the free press. That's what makes America great, right? The freedom of the press. People got the freedom to write and see as they see. So fit, right? But you know what it is over here. The freedom of the press works this way too. It's called the internet. And on the internet, we reign supreme in the barbershop. If you know, you know. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. Yeah, look, that's just what I do. When you see that panda and that barber pole, we cooking. It ain't for everybody. I ain't going out recruiting a bunch of people. I ain't going out here tapping people on the shoulder with flyers. Hey, watch my show. You want to watch my show? Barbershop ain't for everybody. This is speakeasy. You might have to have a code word to get in here. Got to knock on the door. What's the code word before you get in the club? Come on now. Not sure if you've seen what's happening in the NFL. Allowing Bucky to cover 12 Shiloh and Cam is going to be another stimulus for your channel. Will UCSS have representation at Browns camp when the media is allowed? Listen, I'm fighting hard for it. You know me, listen, I'm fighting hard for it. The problem is we have a set schedule. We go from 11 to 1. And generally speaking, the Cleveland Browns are practicing during that timetable. So, I think it's kind of difficult. And I think from the higher ups thought process, we got a lot of people, we almost over 60,000 subscribers that tune in daily to the UCSS. Thank you guys for making that a big part of your afternoons. And people have expected and know to come that rain, sleet, rain, shine, dark, whatever, we're going to be there at 11 to 1. So if we go move in the schedule, suits ain't going, they don't like that. They're like, come on, we've already built this market. We're not going to do that with. But there are some things that we're trying to do that really can get it going. Like for me, there are certain things on the weekend, right? I'm a person who believes in I don't even say I believe in it. Like I got 17 shows, right? But I still do this show. I still work on the weekends. I'm still moving. I worked the weekends for 15, 20 years. That's when all the stuff happened. How I not going to work on the weekend, that's when stuff popping off. So we might have an opportunity to do something on a Saturday, get out there and see it. But I do like I did see that the NFL, it might let them come in, and I believe the well-off media come in and shoot Shedeur and Shiloh, as they should. As they should. It's still press. I mean, they shoot everything in Colorado. It's not as if these guys don't know. These guys have been doing this for a long time. This is a media company. Again, we talked about the freedom of the press, right? It's a great thing about this country. Freedom of press. We like that. We want to see them out there. Y'all been great out here. Let's see. The Fact-12 was asked to win games with his arm. What gives him the edge? I appreciate that, Double D. I like them shoes over there as well, too. I like them. P. Rothstein, my man. He been one of the day one guys, man. One of them, that's the name back in the day. I have ESPN Plus, and I've seen every college game that he's played in from Jackson State to Colorado. He is better than any quarterback we've had, and it's not close. Hopefully he gets a fair shot. Here's what this is, P. Rothstein. This ain't about me trying to give nobody position. It's trying to give somebody an opportunity and a fair shot. And a lot of times people don't understand this. In our world, in our society, the way media works is, the way the algorithm is, they show you what you look for. If you start off, I always talk about it, and people know this about your YouTube channel. Go searching for something 2 or 3 minutes on something like wood carpentry, right? Say you want to learn, or backyards. I want to get an idea for my backyard. As soon as you're done watching that video, you hit that like button, your algorithm switched. Now, every other show that they're going to suggest to you is about gardening or your backyard, because they're going to say, oh, well, hold on now. G. Bush, you telling me you like gardening now? Well, let me show you about this. I got a whole bunch of gardening videos for you, dog. Here you go. Boom, 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 boom. And you're like, hold on, whoa. I just wanted one video. That's the way the algorithm works. Now you get online and you Google something. Guess what the ads pop up? Lowe's, Home Depot. You're like, dang, we got a Memorial Day sale coming up now. Get all of your, get your perennial flowers right now. Half off. You're like, whoa. I was just trying to learn 2 things about my backyard. I don't want all that. So that's the way that the algorithm is set up. So if you searching for crazy stuff, or if you searching and you get in this echo chamber, all you're going to have fed to you is things that are opposite of the other, right? That's what you get. So guess what? I'm just trying to give you a counter to these things. I'm just trying to give you the full picture. Yes, you can have that over there, but guess what? There are certain things. There's a lot of people that if I wouldn't have played that, they would have never came up on their screen. They would have never knew that Kurt Warner or Bernie Kosar or any general manager or Keyshawn Johnson or Drew Bledsoe said anything about, and you just thinking that the only thing that matters is what the beat reporter told you, because that's the atmosphere that you're in. So I'm just trying to give people a fair shake. Yoshi Dolce. I like that. I think it's Yoshi Doce, 2006. I watch tape. I love Sanders. You watch tape. Love Sanders. Legends watch tape. Love him. Even Alexander the Great of Macedonia had skeptics until he proved he was as great as his father. Let me tell you this, too. And here's the thing about Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great found a way that when he conquered an army and those people came into the camp, he indoctrinated all kind of different soldiers. And the great thing about Alexander the Great, he led by example. Alexander the Great was at the front of the line. He wasn't at the back. He was at the front of the line encouraging people and rallying troops. When they wanted to go home, he said, whoa. What you mean we want to go home? We're pushing forward. You know what the game plan is, but he did it by example. Coach Stefanski says, Shedeur does it by example as well. We'll come back up with that. We'll give you that story as well. Great quote. I like history involved. Alexander the Great quote. I mean, hey, listen, hey, see, I told you, hon. Hey, barbershop is special. I was just talking to my wife. She over here. She be moderating. I be telling her, man. That's why I like messing around with people in the barbershop, because they well read, well learned. I like that. You almost fried. Big Black, we appreciate you, man. I don't think the coaches want Sanders. Sanders was the owner's choice. That's the great thing about having owners, right? And I don't understand why people get this twisted all the time. What billionaire owner of a business don't have his way? I'd be confused about this. Now, half the people that be saying the owner be meddling be sounding crazy. What you think they're going to do? What billionaire do you know passive and lets people do what they want to and have no say? I can't think of that one. Of course he's going to have a say. Of course. He's a billionaire. There's one of 32 of them. Even if you're a billionaire, you just can't get a team. They got to vote on it. Let that sink in. They're like, oh, no, you can't get in the good old boys club like that. Who you know? I don't care if you got rich tomorrow. Who you know, and we got to vote on whether you in there or not. It's an elite group and organization of people that's very at the tippy top 1%. What does the tippy top 1% do in this country? Anything they want to. Why you think they're not going to say, listen, Shedeur Sanders is there. Mel Kiper said he was the best quarterback. All these other quarterbacks said he was good. Heck, he's in the 5th round. I'm taking him. He got on that phone. Heck, I always laugh and joke. I always say that D. Haslam woke up and said, listen, Jimmy, it stops now. It stops. The slide is over. Make the picks and get it done. Jimmy got on that phone. And Andrew, hey, let's make it happen. Are you sure about that? I thought we were taking Dillon in the 3rd round. I thought we were doing that. Are you sure? Andrew, I said, get it done. And that's how it went down. The fact that the Browns brought in extra players to give equal reps at rookie minicamp says a lot. Coach said they changed it up in regular camp, too. They know Shedeur isn't a 5th-round talent. The Ashanti mom, you are correct. It's written all. Listen, hey, shout out to the Root Boys, Cleveland's own. You remember that song in the 80s? It's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. Remember that? It's written all over the face, man. Written all. They brought people in to compete to get them reps today, right now. And as they should. I like what Stefanski is doing. We're going to get to that as well. You hit it on the head with your response. History. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. Let's get to Stefanski. I want to talk about Stefanski a little bit because he was in a building. Let me see what I want to do. Get my slides. Let me bring this up. Where are we at? There we go. I think Stefanski said a couple of things. And let's get to it. Add this to the stage. So this is Kevin Stefanski was on 92.3 The Fan this weekend. Kevin Stefanski was all on. He was actually on ESPN Cleveland as well, and he had a lot of things to say in terms of the quarterback situation. See what I did right here. I had the receipts on this one. But I don't want to do that. You know, and the last time Cass was a little upset. He was a little upset. They was like, oh man, this dude, you gonna kill us with your own footage. He doing too much shit. I said, okay, that's fine. I can take the words. I'll give you the written words. Only time will tell. But this is article. We talked about this with Kevin Stefanski. He talked about Shedeur. Only time will tell, but I still, for the life of me, can't understand why Shedeur Sanders fell all the way to the 5th round. The former quarterback Buffalo Star was actually the second quarterback taken in 2025 NFL draft by the Cleveland Browns. Maybe we just want to hear more about Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel. Then again, only one of them carried the first round projected early in the draft process. When speaking to ESPN Cleveland, Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski could not stop talking glowingly about Sanders. He raved about how good of a person he is and how much of a hard worker he is. That may or not translate to success for the field, but it was all about the tone Stefanski's voice when he was talking about him. This is a great head coach who has never had the right guy. Obviously, this is the journalist's opinion, right? Let me give you what he said in the second part of this, because he goes on to talk about exactly what Kevin Stefanski said that got him so encouraged about Shedeur Sanders in general, right? Here we go. And this in here. So, I think this is important to hear. Stefanski had been asked to make chicken salad out of chicken mess for the years, so this resonate, right? So here's his quotes exactly on Shedeur Sanders. Back to this, man. Let's see. Here we go. Shedeur is a great kid, and whether it's a following that he's earned, that's something he's done a great job of interacting with the fans. But he is a great kid. You guys will get to know him more. He's working like crazy, just like all the guys. It's abundantly clear that the character assassination that was attempted on Sanders did not take hold. My office is this is what I like to see. This is what I like to see. Because one of the things that I don't like when people do is I don't like when people try to assassinate your character and talk about you lazy, all these buzzwords. I used to hate that. I hate it. Don't tell me I'm more substance. I'm more flash than substance. Don't tell me that I'm not working hard when I'm putting it on tape. Don't tell me that you rub people the wrong way, but people don't put their name behind it. I like what Kevin Stefanski said right here. And if you don't believe this, then you might listen. If you don't believe the coach, what he's saying, so let me get this right. You smart. Think about this. This is very important. I'm going to drill down on this so we can be very clear about this. You just heard all of those quarterbacks talk about what he is on the field, the intangibles, the leadership, the skill sets. You heard it, right? You heard a former general manager say what it is. Watch when he gets off the field. He's talking to the linemen. Watch what he's doing, showing leadership. The head football coach, who you guys always say is a two-time coach of the year and should be given more leeway than he actually has in his organization, he said this, not me. Not me. I didn't say it. He said this, and nobody had to twist his arm to do it. My office is downstairs. They got to walk by my office as they come in. They come in early, and he's referring to Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel. And Shedeur, just like all those guys, he's in there early. He's getting his work done. So he's working really, really hard. I like everything there is about Shedeur. End quote. I didn't say it. The CU aunties didn't say it. The Colorado grandmas didn't say it. Coach Prime didn't say it. Shiloh didn't say it. Well-off media didn't say it. Coach Kevin Stefanski gave you those quotes. He gave you those quotes. And I like the fact, have you ever had your parents' bedroom be downstairs and yours is upstairs and you came in too late? You're like, dang, mom, bedroom door. You look at all that light on in there. Creep in. I'm grown. This during college. I come in at 4 a.m, 3 a.m. Mom and dad still sitting up. I'm grown. Yeah, they're just sitting there. Oh, woke. You might as well go home and come on in there and sit down. Me and your mother talked about it. Anytime your dad said me and your mother talked about it, that means your mom was talking to your dad about it. Beating his ears up. Me and your mother talked about it. And we just don't think it's very becoming. of a man. Nothing good happens after 2 o'clock. Just remember that. I'm like, dang, y'all just waited me out just to say that? That's kind of cryptic. Like, you could have left me a note. Yeah, nothing happens good at 4 o'clock, son. You're grown, but you got to be smarter. Be smarter. You're better than that. What? What? You go to bed feeling worse. You feel bad. Like, dang. You had in your mind you was going to tell them, I'm grown. I pay taxes here. I've been doing this all day. I'll be in the streets in college all the time. I got this. He'd be going upstairs like, man, why don't they believe in me like that? I'm just going. I'm gonna get to the point. I'm gonna just continue to go on. All right. So the coach said this, and let me show you what you up against. Let me show you what you're up against. This is why I give you the receipts, right? You say, G. Bush, that's great. That's great, G. Bush. But you know what are we talking about with this? Let me show y'all something. Let me show you something. Let me see. Let me see if we can pull this up. Let me see. I thought this was interesting. So, people always like to give people attention. I told you I'm all for the smoke. I got a new segment called Wild Tweets. I got a new segment called Wild Tweets, and this is a wild tweet because I got to give you the examples of what's going on and how people is moving. This guy says, Beast from the East, Jokic, he says, Shedeur gets praised for showing up early like every other rookie in the NFL does, like every quarterback who isn't a starter does. Something basic, and the media runs with the Shedeur is so great. I heard he took a golden dump earlier. Media going to report that too. Now listen, what I'm just doing, people say, why are you giving guys like this? No. It's not giving guys like this any publicity. It's to show you why people like me keep putting up stuff the way I do. Because if you don't show them and you don't hold up the mirror, people will gaslight you and tell you, oh, no one says that about Shedeur. BS. No one says that about, I mean, there's a couple of guys out here that do it a little bit, but no one really, and I want y'all to recognize too, if he hits and he's balling, and everybody flips and says, oh, we all knew that she was going to be good. It was just the media that hyped it up. No, you were one of them. You have to show people. Why we're showing this is because when you have anonymous people who spread things, people regurgitate it. You say it enough, it becomes truth. It becomes fact. It's stamped. It's in your DNA because people kept running with it. So you got to be just as diligent on the other end to say, no, facts, no, we're not doing that. No, that's not true. That's not right. That's not right. Incorrect. Stop playing. Yeah, wild tweet. I think it's wild. Now, the coach just told you what it was, and then you downplay it like we wouldn't report that. Well, people won't report it. But I will. I like that little segment. Wild tweets. I think I got another one. Let's get to these wild tweets. Let me see. Let me move this up out of here. Let me get to this, man. Playing around with me. Wild tweets. What else people be saying? What else, Castor? Because I thought Kevin Stefanski did a great job in asking questions. One of the questions was, is there really a quarterback competition? Are all four of these guys going to play? Huh? After that, he's asked, this was a quote. We got the screenshot from it, right? This talks about the same thing. He's here early. He gets his work done. He's working really, really hard. I've liked everything there is about Shedeur. As head coach Kevin Stefanski on Shedeur Sanders. Here's another wild tweet. Realistically, I think the only reason teams didn't get him was because of his attitude. I think the draft humbled him, which he needed. No, sir. Sir, no. Here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to make up that a person wasn't humbled and then say he needed to be humbled. Shut your mouth. Stop playing. We're not playing around with that. He's always been that. It's been documented. It's been documented. Yes, the Browns got a steal in the draft and everybody knows it. But we're not going to do this. We're not going to cower down to people who don't know anything, who have never heard anything about a person's character. He don't know a general manager. He don't know a coach. All he know is what Todd McShay say. All he know is what the rumors in Twitter was saying. We're not going to do that. He needed to be humbled. Said what? What? No, I'm going to stay confident and I'm going to stay ready to go. Which brings me to my next point. Well, I think I might got one more wild tweet. I think I might got one more. Bear with me. How many in here? 1,200 people? Hit that like button for me. Nobody ain't cooking like this. Who's cooking like this? I got all of the receipts. We cooking tonight. Bring me my apron. Let's talk about this. I got one more tweet. There we go. We're going to set that up. See if we get one more wild tweet. This was the question Kevin Stefanski was asked. Are all four quarterbacks actually competing for the starting job? What does that mean? What does actually mean? Like, didn't he tell you that they was competing? You knew Kevin Stefanski was coming up in there. That's the question you had? And Kevin Stefanski, I thought, did a really nice job of going to do the press run, letting people know, yes, if you are on our roster, you are competing for a role. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski, so it should be. Last year we killed him because there was no competition. Last year, people got mad because you said they gave Deshaun Watson the position without earning it. Last year, people was mad because Joe Flacco from the previous year led the Browns to the playoffs, and the Browns did not sign him because many thought that it was because Joe Flacco would have been uncomfortable for Deshaun Watson. We talked about it last year, how the quarterback play was unacceptable. We talked about it last year about how it was the worst quarterback room of all time in the league, and people complained and complained and complained and complained. Now, you got four of them. And your question is, are all of them really competing? I thought you wanted to compete. I thought that's what you wanted last year. And then, wild tweet. I love how the clowns actually act like they have standards when they've been the worst franchise in the history of sports. Come on, man. Come on. This is what we deal with. I'm just showing you. If you just pull it up for Colorado, this is what we deal with. If you're new to the chat, this is what we deal with. If you're new to the Cleveland Browns fandom, get ready for this. We got a lot of stupid tweets. We got a lot of dumb ones. But let me get to this. A lot of what we've seen is stemming from not Shedeur Sanders and what he does, because he doesn't do anything. Stems from the fact that people somehow have this unhealthy fixation with Coach Prime. Coach Prime screwed him. Coach Prime was the one that Coach Prime was the one that brought it all down, G. Bush. Coach Prime was the one who amped him up. He overplayed his cards. He did all this other stuff. Stop playing around. So what I had to do is I had to say, I'm going to do a deep dive. Now, this ain't for everybody. If you sensitive, if you're a person that likes propaganda, this might be the time you get. I'm going to give you 3 to 5 seconds to just, going out, take a restroom break, get you some coffee, come on back in, and we'll be halfway done between then. All right? Y'all ready? Here we go. Couple more seconds. All right, here we go. Now, this is for the real ones. Let's get to it. we're trying to figure out what's going on and why people are just abject, don't like Coach Prime. I got a video for you, a little montage. I like audio visual stuff. I got a nice little montage about why it is that Coach Prime is disliked. Because I think this is the root cause of why that we give Shedeur Sanders so much grief. Let's check it out.
I see a lot of people celebrating.
Okay, and let me give this guy credit. I was on the internet and make sure you go see Doc's Diatribe. He's on Twitter. He has a YouTube channel, Doc's Diatribe. I took this because it inspired this this conversation that I'm doing right now when I saw it. Because I am like him. I was confused. You know, we watch Colorado every single day. I watch every Colorado game, every Jackson State game. My father went to a HBCU, and we watch all the Prime's game, not because, you know, we watch Prime, we watch Shiloh, we watch Shedeur. We've been watching them forever, right? So the way I thought about and the way I'm thinking about Coach Prime is completely different from what the regular, like, other people I started seeing. And I kept asking myself, why is it that people acting this way? So Doc's Diatribe, this guy, he eloquently puts it out there. And then we'll do a little research, and I'll do the research that I did to show you why it is I think people react to Coach Prime the way he does. But listen to this as he sets this up.
I see a lot of people celebrating the fact that Coach Prime in Colorado is getting beat, and they're getting beaten pretty bad by Oregon today. And the fact of the matter is, Oregon is a better team. Colorado has done some great things so far the early part of this season, but they don't have the players that Oregon has. They don't have the players that a lot of these top programs have. And I don't care who you are, anybody that takes over a team that only won one game, you can only expect so much. And not making excuses. But the fact, I mean, I know why a lot of people hate Deion and want to see him fail. But my question is, who has he offended? He walks with confidence. He's unapologetically him. He instills confidence and values into his players: hard work, respect, take accountability, how to deal with adversity. This is a good lesson in how to deal with adversity, because it's going to happen. But I'm just, if somebody please help me understand, what has Deion actually done to make everybody hate him so much? What have his children and his players done to make everybody hate them so much? Because they're utilizing social media to capitalize financially like a lot of people do. A lot of people are on these social media sites trying to get viewers and clicks so they can make money. So his children and himself, Deion himself, know how to utilize that. And people mad about that? Are his children out here getting in trouble? No. Are they cursing? No. You got coaches for other schools cursing at his children. You got people calling his children devils, and what are they doing? They're actually the opposite of what we see a lot of these stereotypes out here doing. All I see them is being confident. A lot of people are flashy. I mean, I know what it is, but what has Deion actually done to make everybody hate him? Because it's a lot of people celebrating the fact that they getting beaten by a better Oregon team with better talent. And Colorado's missing their best player, even though Travis Hunter wouldn't have stopped them from losing today. But it's just amazing what we magically melanateds have to deal with. But we built for it. It is what it is.
Colorado hiring Deion Sanders as its new head coach.
Sometimes we outstay our time at certain places and certain things because we want to leave when we want to leave, not when we need to leave.
Were you surprised by the response? Everybody loved your whole life, Prime.
But so many people felt like when Prime Time left, so did that hope. They came to Jackson for Coach Prime.
CNN had a segment. Is Deion Sanders a sellout for leaving an HBCU? People said he sold a dream, then walked out on the dream. He a con man.
This is a program that was 111.
I think we rid ourselves of 70 young men that was not chosen by us. But maybe 20. Conversations like, this ain't it. This ain't gonna work. The rest of them quit. They quit. The rest of them quit.
It's prime time in the Mountain Time Zone.
All right, here we go. Let's drill down on this. Let's get to it. Because here's how we're going to approach this. We're going to approach this we're going to do it real eloquently. Now, here's the issue. Some people will say it's the way he came in and the way he got rid of his team. Let me tell you something. The way it works in college football. I played college football before, so just take it from me. Let me teach you guys how it works in college football. When you get a new coach, anytime there's a regime change, let me explain it to you like this. When a president is chosen, right, and a president wins the election, the president has the power and given to him by the Constitution to pick whoever he wants in the Constitution to put in these positions. Now, they have to be confirmed by Congress, right, for these appointments. But FDA, Secretary of State, your Chief of Staff, over the Education Department, whoever it is, the president, they serve at the pleasure of the president. That means when there is a regime change, everybody be gone. They go to the private sector, they get a job at a nonprofit, wherever the case may be. Those people are not elected officials. They do have to be confirmed by the Senate. But we always talk about it. Elections have consequences. And guess what? We understand that. You're like, all right, well, I got to go, right? Every regime change happens that way. In college football, it is the exact same thing. When you are recruited by someone in college and that coach either goes somewhere else, it happened to me. When that coach goes, my coach, I was at Ohio University. Coach Jim Grove was our coach. He recruited me. He got a job after my redshirt freshman year to go to Wake Forest. As soon as they said he was going to Wake Forest, I told them I'm transferring. You know why? The person who recruited you is the person that believes in you. The person that recruited you is the person who has the vision for you. The person and the coach that brought you in has the plan for you. The person that recruited you has a history, a track record with you. You know who they are. They know who you are. They know what your skill set is. You know what your skill set is. They know where you want to be used, all the above. But when somebody else comes in, they have a different philosophy. They run a different defense. They may run a different offense. Maybe you are offensive lineman that is smaller because we pass block. But guess what? The new coach came in. We want to run. We want to run the ball 40, 50 times a game. You're 285. That's not going to get it done. Maybe you're a receiver. You throw the ball all over the park. You got 4 wide receivers. You're the third wide receiver. You're getting playing time, you're playing. New coach come in, we're running pro style. We're running with 2 receivers. We're going to replace your job with a tight end. That's what we're going to do. Guess what? You're out. You're going to find a different place that best suit yourself. And when Coach Prime came from HBCU to Colorado, it is no different from a coach like Nick Saban, no different from Urban Meyer, no different from any other coach that says, I want my guys in here. And if you were smart, you have a meeting. What happens in those meetings is you go in and you talk to the coach. And by the way, let me explain this to you. Scholarships are not 4 years. Scholarships are 1-year renewable contracts that can be broken at any time. If you don't go to class, they can take your scholarship. It's 1-year renewables. Even if you are doing everything that you should do. Academics, you're playing hard. You just might not be getting playing times because the people ahead of you is better. If they give you a scholarship and somebody else comes out and it's a 5-star recruit, and that guy's a 5-star, and they didn't think they had a chance at him, but he want to go there, guess what's going to happen to you? They're going to come to you and say, look, Hey, look, we'll give you your walking papers. We'll give you an endorsement. They'll get on the phone and say, hey, coach, I got a player down here. He's a good kid. Really works hard. We just kind of up against it in terms of the number of scholarships that we can give out. We over our minimum. We got another kid that we recruited. We're going to bring him in. He's a great kid. I'll sign for him. I'll vouch for him. That kid then goes to another school and he gets an opportunity to play, right? And the coaches keep relationships like that because of that. That's why I say coaching is a fraternity. There might be some kid that ain't good for you that could go somewhere else and do something. And you get on the phone and you call them. But the whole the premise that I don't like the way he did that people with the 70 guys and that, listen, that's the way it happens all the time. You won't know it because guess what? All you watch is Ohio State. You won't know it. Because a lot of people only watch Ohio State. Like, that's it. You only watch your favorite team. You ain't really that invested. All you know is what recruit we got and how it's moving. You don't care what happened to the dude that was, a 3-star that now is out. That's the way it works. We're breaking it down one by one. But I don't think that's it. So what you got to do is you got to dig deep. You want to find out what people really think about somebody. You got to give them an avenue and a runway to tell the truth. Sometimes when people tell their truth, it's a little uncomfortable because it gives you insight to how people think. And for me, sometimes you got to give people anonymity. Sometimes you got to let them talk behind that little black circle over there. You know what I'd be talking about? Oh, yeah, I was a whistleblower in the government. I saw bad things happening. Why do you think they don't put them on the front page? Why do you think they don't put them on the front page and say, John Smith said X, Y, and Z? Because it's a faux pas. You ain't supposed to be running around here telling people what you really think. But there is a platform for this. It's called Reddit. And I thought this was very interesting. I thought it was interesting because the gentleman, he had a theory about it. I'm going to give you a different theory. If you're standing here right now, 1,300 people, give me a like. I am cooking. I don't think nobody's breaking it down. I'm not tooting my own horn. But I'm giving you a lot of game today. Let's get to it. Let's go ahead and throw this up here. Now, this is a couple of years ago. This is from Reddit. And what I've been doing is I've been trying to drill down and find the correct answer. You heard what his opinion was. By the way, just because he was on the film does not mean that was what my opinion is. I'm just showing you, holding it up and show you what is going on. A person, Swim Threeper, on Reddit, and the reason why Reddit is good is because we don't know who these people are. It's just people typing. And to be honest with you, you're going to get more real people to be real about their true, honest thoughts when they have anonymous content rather than talking with the people in the media. Because the people in the media ain't never going to come out and tell you, say, this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. No, you gotta be smart to parse through it. So here we go. He says, why does Coach Prime receive so much hate? Now, he starts off by trying to be fair. He says, now, he does also receive a lot of love, but I just want to hear reasoning in the hate logic. For instance, I'd understand Bill Belichick or Greg Popovich hate because from the outside looking in, they don't provide much transparency with the media and just look angry like angry old men. Now the people that have played for those gentlemen would drastically have a different feelings as they know the true coach. Coach Prime, on the other hand, is very transparent. He will let you know what's going on and how he feels. He's never badmouthed any other coaches or take shots. He provides his kids with the confidence to run through a brick wall. He only won. He has only won at every level in his career. Is a positive role model. I just can't see why people would receive hate. That's not to say the man is perfect, but as a coach, he's doing everything you would want someone coaching your child to do. So for the people on the other side of the fence, what's the reasoning? I thought this was very eloquent because I like the way he approaches this because this is the way I approach my shows. I may disagree with you. I'm not going to beat you up. I may disagree with you and you can have your opinion and we can go back and forth, right? I wanted to do this. You need people to be comfortable with what they say and how they move. So let's take a look at this, and we'll get to the next thing. Let me take this down. So we'll go by these one by one and see if it resonates with you or not. Because I think this boils down to the larger point that I'm going to make, and I'll bring it all home. Let me get that up out of here. Here we go. This guy, Brady Hoaxhead says media coverage. That's pretty much. There are some people who don't like his recruiting practices, team management practices, or they may just have some beef with him as a player historically. But in the end, it comes down to the same reason why people hated Harbaugh, Zion Williamson, Trey Young, Tim Tebow, etc. Any single person that gets so much media coverage that even at an event that has nothing to do with them gets interrupted with talk about them is going to annoy people to the point of heavy dislike or borderline hatred. I think like the fact that people, this is going to be, and I'm going to read through these so that we can get them in concession. But I want you to see the broader theme here. There is no, there it is. There is no smoking gun. There is no, hey, I don't like it because concrete A, B, and C. We'll get to it coming up here as well. All right, let me get this up out of here. All right, let's get to the other one. Because he's basically had to accomplish less than half of what coaches normally would to get the same media coverage. By the way, he's won at every level. He's won in high school. He's won a state championship in one of the most competitive states in Texas. He won in the HBCU. He took a 1-10 team, and he took them to a bowl game in 2 years. He's coached a Heisman Trophy winner in only 3 or 4 years in college. His son won the Johnny O'Brien, or I think it's Johnny Unitas arm, or I think it's Johnny Unitas award as the best quarterback that is a senior. Let's get to it. He says, and when he does lose, you'll have media personalities go to bat for him, saying things like other coaches helped Dan Lanning prepare for Colorado. If they go to a bowl this year, it'll be a huge accomplishment, but people will still be bitter because they get the level of a hype a team like Michigan or Georgia should be getting. As we can see, there's really no, because people talk about him a lot. I think, is that what we're taking away from it? Let's continue. This might be the most petty. The fact that he calls himself Coach Prime doesn't help. Okay. We're starting to see, we're putting it together. Also, the fact that he's been pretty, you can say the word, I get demonetized, everywhere he's been. This is unequivocally false. He's been bad everywhere he's been. I just told you what he won. He was a selfish player that immortalized business decisions. Okay. He was an adulterous husband and beat his kids. He did the whole Prime Academy thing. He claimed divine intervention led him to save HBCUs, only to abandon them before anything could change. And then he took all of the good players. You should see the things his former players have said and left unsaid since he's left. And then everything at Colorado. It doesn't help that his kids are an extension of him. There you go. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. It doesn't help that his kids are an extension of him. So when they flash blind and compare themselves to Tom Brady after being an FCS quality team in overtime, it grates on people. Okay. Ain't for everybody. I'm just showing you the receipts. Give you the receipts. The media coverage has been unrelenting. He's also showboating and trash talking when it's clearly not appropriate. Just look at Oregon pregame or the quarterback's flex when he barely beat a terrible team. Okay. Let's keep it moving. We're almost done with this. I know people, I got to show it. Got to. He's incredibly arrogant, which tends to rub people the wrong way, and pretty much the definition of style over substance. I wouldn't really say he's won at every level. He won a lot of games at Jackson State, but never beat a team that finished in the top 50 in FCS per Massey and never won the Celebration Bowl despite having a massive talent advantage over HBCU programs. I didn't know people cared about HBCU programs. People was out here feigning like he did the HBCU wrong. How many times did you watch an HBCU? Have you donated to HBCU? Did you go to an HBCU? Do you even know they exist? Can you tell me what countries and states they in? I find it funny that all of a sudden you got the heart for the HBCU. Let's keep it pushing. One more. I don't hate Prime. Dude may be a little overly confident, but he has the football career to show for it. I do hate how the major networks love constantly divert almost every topic back to Prime. Even in games where he makes no sense at all to talk about Colorado or Prime, they try to gaslight listeners into thinking that being critical of Prime or CU is on par with being racist. Then have the CU team members seem to have sort of a stolen valor mentality. That just because Coach Prime is in the Hall of Fame, that they can act like they're a top 5 team, even though the reality is they just barely won a few games. Listen, so you mad that people believe that they can win games? You mad that people have confidence that they're going to go out and try to win football games? Like shit. The team needs to take it down a notch and just get a necessary rhythm to improve. Again, this is what we're talking about. And you say, G. Bush, what is the point of going through all those quotes? What is the point of doing it? First of all, the point of me doing this is to show you where people actually think so that you can't act like they don't exist. The second part is to go through it line by line so that we can actually try to talk about the difference between somebody hating and the difference between somebody having a problem with their own selves. I think this is more critique about fans and the media and their relationships with players more than anything. Let's continue to keep it going. This is an article that talks about this. It's a little small. I'll read it for you guys. I'll go slowly. This article in 2018 is by Julia Yamate. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but this perfectly encapsulates why it is that there is a wide disconnect between the media and what they pursue, the fans and what they digest, and the narrative that happens with players, right? Let's start here. She goes on to say the perspective of popular athletes by fans is skewed and unhealthy. I think in the beginning, she's making the point that fans, tend to worship players. Fans tend to give them improper due and put them in the spotlight and put them on a pedestal. I agree with that. She then goes on to talk about how it is that she feels about this situation, and I think you can start to see underlying issues here. What really bothers me is how athletes, mostly men, are made out to be rock stars. The best of our society, the best that could ever be. You can get money and attention just for playing your favorite sport. I strongly disagree with this system. Now, here's my point. And this is the reality of the situation. Say what you want. I find it very difficult to agree with people who say this stuff because this country is about capitalism. This is what the American dream is about, right? People stand up, make America great again. This is what country is about. I don't understand why capitalism is great for all the people that are at the top 1% and being rich. But when it comes to the players that are predominantly minorities, it's a problem. Let me say it again. Why do you have a problem with capitalism only when it comes to people playing sports and that group happens to be predominantly minority? It needs to be said. It happens way too often. What really bothers me is how athletes, mostly men, are made out to be rock stars. You guys do that. They didn't do it. The system did it. The NFL, who have billionaires, created that system, right? The best you can ever be. You can get money and attention just by playing your favorite sport. You can get money and attention by playing video games. You can get money and attention by eating hot dogs. at a high rate. You can get money and attention for anything right now in our society. Is that not what we wanted? No one should be put on a pedestal. Stop putting them there. That's up for you to decide. And the ones that get the closest to deserving that type of glorification are the ones fighting for others and putting their lives at risk. Like people who go to third world countries to help dying children. People who actually help others should be getting credit for their work. No offense, but running around with a ball or a puck, whatever your favorite sport is not that big of a deal. Despite everything, I'm not that naive, and I know that sports have become a market that sells. Players are not only athletes, their names become brands, and anything that they touch can be charged 10 times or more. But honestly, this has just gotten out of hand. Society's praise of public figures is unhealthy, and the way that many markets exploit them is wrong. Well, listen, I'm waiting for her to mention the owners. That hasn't come up yet. She seems to have no problem with the 32 billionaire owners who are winning at the highest levels in this country. There's at least one bright spot in the devotion to sports. Many athletes pursue academic careers and to continue playing as a way to reach professional level. In some ways, sports are a way to keep kids in school. Overall, athletes are deserving of a good payment because they work hard. No, that's not the way it works. Capitalism is you are worth what someone is willing to pay. I'm confused. But in my opinion, society thinks about how much they are actually paid, and they are not actual gods. We all know that. I believe we know that. We should know that. That's something that we should understand. They are not gods. They are not paid or so. This has been a longer segment, but I'm bringing it home. Trust me. I'm bringing it home. If you've stayed this long, keep rocking. Here's the landing point. Here is the landing point for me. Give me a second. I'm going to go one by one and tell you what it is and why I think this is a commentary not only on Brown's quarterbacks or Coach Prime. It's the way that we consume our media. It's the way that we consume and we talk about sports in general in this country. And it has a lot to do with ourselves and not really athletes. Because I'm actually seeing it more and more. Because when I was younger, I think athletes used to be at a point where there was almost a thin layer between athletes and their admiration into where we are now, where now you see it a lot. And people are more and more bipolar, if I could say that, when it comes to the way they feel about athletes. It's a conundrum. At one point, they admire their athletic ability. They love them because they play for their team. But at the other end, it's almost like they despise them because of their notoriety or the attention that they get or the money they get. And it's just like, I'm confused by it. But I think actually this is a critique on a higher level than just talking about sports. It has to do with the interaction of all three. Let's talk about this. I think there's a big reason, huge reason. Let me see. Let me load these up. Make sure I got it. We're going to make sure I got this stuff. All right. Let's see. Let me see. There we go. I don't want to touch that. I don't want to do that. Let's get to it. Okay. Got a couple more. One more. All right, here we go. 1,300 people in here. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. So when we talk about it, you heard the conversation. If you hear a bunch of stuff about Prime, a bunch of stuff about this, and a bunch of stuff about this, it says more about us than it says about the athletes. According to Gallup's global poll, indicates that only 15% of workers worldwide are engaged at work, implying that the larger majority, 85%, are unhappy. According to the Staff Squared CNBC reports that 60% of people feel emotionally detached at work, and 19% also report feeling miserable. When you are, this is just an awakening. This is something that I went to find because I was confused. And when I do the research. I think when you have people and fans use football or sports as a release, and that release is from their regular lives. I think the honest thing is that most people, when they look at athletes, realize at some point that they'll never make that money. That level of money. They'll never be able to play something that they or work at something that they get extreme joy from. They don't feel attached to what they do. They don't have passion for what they do. And in our country, this is what happens. People are upset. People get upset. And when the game is over, the reality is that 2 hours is a break from saying how miserable they are. And so when you could equate, when you see people on a board say, hey, I don't like the attention that he gets. I don't like that we got to hear about him every 5 seconds. It seems crazy. It seems wild. Let's keep going. It's another critique of our country. It's always going to be a disconnect in our society when we have a bunch of people who are busting their tails and not getting any money, that are busting their tails every single week doing what they need to do to try to put food on the table. And it just seems like the gap is bigger, the gap is bigger, the gap is bigger. And there's a problem because you love your team. You want them to win. But at the end of the day, only 2 inches below that waist, 2 inches below the dirt, when you dig just a little bit, you automatically realize that, man, these kids in the NIL is making millions. The coaches are making millions. The players are getting millions, and they said they want more. We talk about it in 2021. This is a problem. There's a lot of people in our country that are the working poor. 4.1% of the labor force were classified as working poor, meaning they worked or at least 27 weeks, but their income fell below the official poverty line. The figure is roughly 6.6 million people, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics. The term working poor is something where you got people that are busting their tails every single day to put food on the table. But guess what? It never seems enough. Now, listen, I don't know. This is to the point of the conversation where people will say, oh, well, why are you getting political? This ain't political. This is human nature. We breaking down game here. Would you rather me talk about the NBA playoffs, or you want me to tell you about the people that's really doing it and why there's such angst in the community? This is how I'm moving. I told you this ain't for everybody. We giving facts. 2/3 of voters say the country is on the wrong track. Latest national NBC poll finds 65% of voters say the country is on the wrong track. For the first time since September 22, that figure has dipped below 70%. 70% of people feel like we as a whole are going in the wrong direction. So let's talk about so far what we have. Individuals that don't like their job. Individuals who are getting paid poverty level wages at a job that they don't like. And looking around in the country and seeing things fall apart. I'd say that pretty much consistently adds to why people are angst, why people are salty. Let's continue on. A lot of people don't have any people, and a lot of people are a little upset. According to various studies, around 40 to 50% of marriages are reported to be unhappy. Support systems, down. Support systems, people don't have people to look out for. And I thought this was a big one too. While the precise number of Americans unhappy with their families is difficult to determine, surveys suggest that a significant portion experience unhappiness or estrangement with their family dynamics. Some studies estimate 70 to 80% of families in the U.S. are considered dysfunctional, and 1/4 of Americans are estranged from at least one family member. A lot of that information is deep. A lot of that information, it may be heavy. But when I look at the way we interact with our players, where we interact with people, and the way people go about saying how they like people and do things, it's more about what they go through on a daily basis. It's a reflection about the way they feel about their lives. It's a reflection of the way they feel about the country. And it's a reflection about the way they go about doing certain things. Let's finish up. Dang, y'all out here cooking. Let's get to some super chats. Let's get to them. Hey man, let's take this down. Let me move this. Let me move this so we can see. Jay, you killed me with the Rude Boys reference, man. That's why I watch and listen to the Barbershop, because who keeps it more real than G. Bush? I feel you. I appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much, as always. XP_gaming says, we appreciate the super chat. No one asked pre-draft what 12 would be with a running game. Imagine if 12 had a run game. Teams played the pass 100% in the blitzing without no run threat. Shout out to the really Xavier P. I see you over there, my guy. We appreciate you. We got a new member. What up, D-Bell? What up, man? Appreciate you. Jimmy Cleveland. As a Shedeur fan, now a Cleveland Browns fan, we already know how Shedeur is. Thanks for keeping it a buck. Jimmy Cleveland, I like your name. You're a Cleveland fan. You in Cleveland. Also, I say that it's ironic a melanated prime has inspired other melanated men as myself in raising a family with their values and discipline, still succeeding in historically scary for this certain status quo. As always, and I got a super sticker. Jaguar 89, I appreciate you so much when it comes to what you putting down, man. Let me get to, we done a lot of these joints. Let me get to some people. I know people in here. Where we at? Let me see. Let's see. We're going to keep pushing. Michael Kirby Sr. says, the Cleveland media mafia is doing what Granny used to say, don't be a fool and let folks know you arguing to yourself. XP Gaming, the first thing that was never discussed about Shedeur, it was always Hunter. He took too many sacks, etc., but did no one project without a legit or mediocre run game. What happens when teams know he passing? Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's see. Let's get this. Hey, Selmo Flood. Garrett, they don't know nothing about the Rude Boys. They ain't with Cleveland like that. They steady clout chasing on a man name. I appreciate you, man. Let's see. Let me get a couple more, and I got one more thing I want to get to. They think they are scaring us by getting Buck using DEI as code for cutting us off, and the opposite is true. We are ready to separate. He seems like he wants to be. He ready. He's standing on business. Yesterday, look on NFL hit the net on the head with what happened and what they should do moving forward with 12. Cats is moving. Daryl Hopkins said, G. Bush got time today. I sure do. I sure do. Speaking of, let's talk about this. I got all the time in the world today. Stop playing with me. Voice feeling good. We out here cooking. Let me show you this. What is that? Oh, here we go. Let me show you this. Oh, you didn't think I had this up the sleeve, did you? Oh, you didn't think we was gonna get to no Evan Mobley conversation? Stop playing around with me. Listen, there is some situation going on with Evan Mobley. Shout out to Evan Mobley, and I got to get his stuff up here because I'm showing you what Evan Mobley has been doing. We going overtime today. Y'all don't even know it. Let me get that out of here. Y'all ain't even know. I had a whole joint ready. Let's kick this into high gear. Let me take these down, and I'm gonna give you what Evan Mobley been doing. Shout out to Evan Mobley. He's been getting his work in. He's got a lot of awards. Where we at? He's been getting a lot of awards. He has been Defensive Player of the Year. He has been first team all defense. Let's take a look at this. Take this down. So, Evan Mobley's accolades in 4 seasons. Defensive Player of the Year 2025. All NBA second team 2025. 2-time all defensive team 2023 and 2025. He was all-star for the first time last year, all rookie team, first team. One of the best starts to a career in franchise history. Evan Mobley has been racking up the awards. Here's the problem. The Cleveland Cavaliers have been bounced in the last 2 rounds. The Cleveland Cavaliers have been bounced in the last 2 playoff series, last 3 actually, to the Knicks, to the Celtics, and to the Indiana Pacers, who continue to put up big numbers. And now Bill Simmons comes out and says, "Listen, guys, we are thinking that are we really going to?"
Listening to Bill Simmons talk about potential young.
I messed that set up. But Bill Simmons had a conversation, and Bill Simmons talked about Giannis for Evan Mobley. And you know what the crazy part about it was? I was looking at it, and I was looking at the stats, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, man, come on, man, that shouldn't happen. But then I said, man, I wonder how many people would make that deal. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to play this clip right here. They break down the thing, break down its schedule. I don't know if it works with the second apron, but what I want your thoughts on is this. Would you make this trade? Evan Mobley right now in his prime for Giannis, who is 30 years old. I need you to put this in the chat. I need to know. 1, that you would make the deal. 2, no. I don't want no parts about it. 1, yes. 2, no. Would you make this trade for Giannis trading Evan Mobley? Listen to this and then break down what the thought process for both teams.
I was listening to Bill Simmons talk about potential Giannis deals this week, and he floated this idea of Giannis being traded effectively straight up for Evan Mobley. I was tweeting a little bit about it on Tuesday. Bobby Marks, my good friend over at ESPN, shut down the dream of a Giannis Mobley talk because the CBA doesn't allow it. Second apron team that Cleveland is. Still, let's play out the hypothetical here. Like, let's say there's a way to make the math, and you can do a deal that is centered around Giannis Antetokounmpo for Evan Mobley. This would be a tough deal, I think, for either one of these teams to turn down. If you're Milwaukee, you're not getting dollar for dollar value back for Giannis. That's not possible. He's a perennial MVP candidate, still one of the best players, two-way players in the game. But he's also 30 years old, and I've said this many times, and I don't believe it's debatable, that even with the Eastern Conference being weaker next year, and I want to get to that when I talk about Cleveland, you're not winning a championship next season with Damian Lillard out and no reasonable way to get somebody in to replace him. They've made their deals, and they made their mistakes, like we talked about with the draft picks. They have not hit on these draft picks enough that they're able to, supplement the loss of talent they've had over the years. So if I'm Milwaukee and I have a chance to get a 23-year-old reigning defensive player of the year who improved measurably offensively this year under Kenny Atkinson as his usage rate went up and all his numbers went up across the board. Kenny Atkinson was talking to me about Magic Johnson comps with Evan Mobley. So high praise from his head coach. I would have to really consider that because that is the foundational rebuilding piece. Maybe you get a couple draft picks or something back in return. I'd consider if I was Milwaukee. If I was the Cleveland, I'd be all in. Like, they don't have enough, right? With just Mobley, Mitchell, and Garland. I I think that's played out over the last couple of years. I mean, Mobley will take another leap next year, presumably, but it still might not be enough. Like the demise of the Celtics, at least the 1 year demise of the Celtics, has opened up a window in the Eastern Conference. Like the Eastern Conference stinks. Compared to the West, the Eastern Conference stinks. And with Tatum likely out all of next season, who is the favorite to win the East next year? Is it one of the two teams in the conference finals right now? Maybe. Is it Cleveland as currently constituted? Maybe. Does Orlando make a move to jump? Like there's just a lot of things that could happen where, one deal could push you over the edge. If I'm Cleveland and I've got Mitchell in his prime, Garland just hitting his prime basically, if I had the opportunity to go and get Giannis, to add him to that mix, I would do it. Because a big three of Giannis, Mitchell, Garland, that's enough to win you the Eastern Conference. Maybe it's not enough to win you a championship because whoever comes out of the West is probably going to be a beast. But to me, if the math could math, point that out right away. But if the math could math, if I was both teams, I'd want to do that deal.
Yeah, Chris, we're not Bobby Marks, so it depends on how the math works, but it's a no-brainer. Now, to be clear, because I know that this has been a source of many discussions, especially in the last few podcasts. Do you trade Giannis? It's a no-brainer. Now, if it wasn't for Damian Lillard's injury, I might have some second guesses because their chemistry's improved a lot. Just the idea of a small market team trading their star, unless he actually came out and explicitly said, I want out. But because Damian Lillard's injury is such a heavy cloud for next season, they got to do it whether Giannis asks for a trade or not, because they've already sniffed 3 consecutive first-round exits. They're not going to go anywhere repeating the same formula. So cut your losses now. You're not going to get an equal value deal because you probably won't with any superstar trade. But what's the alternative? Just running around the hamster wheel, going nowhere? How about collect assets that maybe help you win now, but also help you win in the future? And with this proposed idea that you mentioned with Evan Mobley, again, the math has to math, but it's a great fit for both ends. Obviously for Cleveland, it helps them maximize their odds to go out again next season, also hope for better health. With the Bucks, I think we have to keep in mind with Evan Mobley, not only is he defensive player of the year, not only has he grown as an offensive player, but this all took place while sharing on-court time with Jarrett Allen, who is another big. He showed in today's NBA that it's okay to play with another big because he can complement that big skill set. Jarrett Allen's obviously more of a defensive guru than offensive scorer, but he was able to play off of him. So as it pertains to his fit with Brook Lopez, it would be a seamless fit, whether or not he's on the same roster or if they get another big. I think the other thing we also have to keep in mind is Evan Mobley had these kind of numbers despite the fact that Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell are on the team. Now, it all goes hand in hand. They're great playmakers, but you also have to keep in the idea that there's only one basketball and there has to be a buy-in of making sure that the offensive balance flows. Evan Mobley played a very key part in not being the weak link in that. So his fit would be seamless in Milwaukee with his skill set and how he would fit with other teammates.
Listen, that is courtesy of Sports Illustrated, and this got me thinking. Now, we're going to get to him. I see we got over 103 comments since we talked about this. If you would make the trade, put a 1 in there. If you wouldn't, put a 2. Evan Mobley has improved. Let's start right there. Evan Mobley has done a tremendous job of upping his offensive game. What he was able to do this year, he had a situation where he started shooting more threes. He was a defensive player of the year, first team all defense. He's a game changer on defense. He's a guy, and I think one of his best strong suits is the fact that on pick and rolls, and we saw Jarrett Allen get kind of cooked a little bit against Halliburton on pick and rolls. When you switch with Evan Mobley, the way he's able to move his feet and use his length in order to get contested shots on step backs, when you beat him to the basket, he has the ability to recover with his length. Evan Mobley showed a lot of things this year. However, there's a segment of the population that believes Evan Mobley's offensive game will never be Kevin Garnett. It will never be Durant. It'll never, frankly, it won't be Giannis. People are saying he may peak at 24 points a game, maybe go up to 9, 10 rebounds, 24 and 10. You know, but his three-point ability and his defense ability make up for that as well. But sometimes I'm just asking y'all, because when you look at it and you take a look at what Giannis is bringing to the table, I mean, what Giannis is bringing to the table is wild. Like, let's look at, and I think sometimes we don't take a look at people's statistics, and we kind of just gloss over it because we really don't kind of pay attention to it like that. When you look at what Giannis did in the playoffs against the Pacers, I mean, this was wild. Let's take a look at this. He averaged 30 points, 11.6, almost 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 2.1 steals and blocks, 62% true shooting, and is finishing the top 5 in MVP voting each year in the last 5 seasons. This is the last 5 seasons. This isn't 1 year. This is what he's done over the last 5 seasons. Just been in the top 5 in MVP voting every year. 30 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 2.1 steals and blocks. The dude is a monster. The trade won't go down because of the second apron. But it is a fascinating conversation when you talk about it. If you put him with Donovan Mitchell, that's ugly. That's super ugly. However, do we know what Evan Mobley can be if he did not play with Donovan Mitchell? Would you just stick with Evan Mobley and increase his usage? And tell Darius Garland, you got to be the third option. Evan Mobley, we got to dump it in the post. I done flip-flopped on this about 5 or 6 times. I've said all along, I said on UCSS last week that if you can get Giannis, it's just a no-brainer. But Evan Mobley, he's in his trajectory and he's 23 years old. I'm excited to see what you guys say, and we're going to get to it right now. Let's get to it. I want to figure out what we doing here. What we doing? Let's get to the, we got some 1s, got some 2s, make sure we got all that covered. We got 1 super chat. I see you uncles and aunties. Appreciate you, G. Bush. I appreciate you too. Reverend B.J. Nelson, we appreciate you. Phyllis Smith, I just stopped by to say, tell Mary if she's going to talk about Shedeur to get her facts right, she's disrespectful. I appreciate you, Phyllis. Hey, to see you. Hey, we in the building. Oh, G. Bush, you've been watching us. That explains it. You know the real. You know what it is. Let's get to these 1s and 2s. Let's get to these 1s and 2s. Let me see. Let me see what y'all doing with this Evan Mobley deal. Y'all been killing it. Y'all been killing it today, man. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in too. Wherever you at. Wherever you at. This is a mixed situation. Here we go. Let me see. Let me see. Here we go. G Money says, nah, bro. That's a 2. We can't do it for Evan Mobley. Texas Truth can't make the move. Reggie Bud Glover can't make that move. D the Man 87, nope. Hey, the Noes have it so far. The Noes have it. Hey, Evan Mobley. Hey, big dog. They like you. Keep balling. Mel says, oh, there's 1-1. Nope. We keep it Mobley. Right now, the Noes have it. Nope. 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 Hey, we got 2 yeses, right? Nope. Hey, Kurt says all the 2s in the world. Oh, got all the 2s. That's 3 yeses, 4 yeses, 5 yeses, 6 yeses, 7 yeses, 8. Listen, the yeses is coming back a little bit. All right, here come the 2s. Here come the 2s. Here come the twos. The twos is in the building. Giannis still got 5 more years. Yes, for real, Mobley is going to be what he is now. Let's see. Let me see. You make a trade for Giannis, you need to not include Mobley. Giannis is 30. His game is entirely based on his athleticism. Mobley is extremely high ceiling. He could be a 28-10 guy in 2 to 3 years. I like your rationale. We'll talk Mobley in Orlando and give you Anthony. Shut up. You stop playing around. Mobley can defend and shoot. The twos have it. Right now, the twos looking like Cavs should not trade Mobley. They need to move Garland and Allen. Facts. I'm moving anybody is Allen and Garland. Twos is in there. Twos. Y'all cooking. There's a 1 right here. There's a couple 1s. Home and Duke of Nyla. I thought even the second apron, the only way we could trade for Giannis if we trade Mobley. Nah, the way the second apron works is, first of all, the Cavs are in the second apron. And when you're in the second apron, that means you're up out of here. That means you can't make a trade unless it's the exact same dollar for dollar. And the dollars are, and then you can't trade 2 people for 1 person. Now, it makes sense, like, why the trade makes sense on paper, but not in reality is Evan Mobley is the best player you could possibly get that has a high enough salary that can match up with Giannis to be able to make the trade 1 for 1, because you can't do 2 for 1 or 3 for 1 if you were in the second apron, which the Cavs are. So they can't make that move. So that's where it's at. They would have to get under the apron, which means they'd have to trade Dean Wade. They'd have to trade Isaac Okoro for basically picks, take no money back. But the problem with that is not too many teams have cap space in order for you to do that. And who wants to just take on Dean Wade or Isaac Okoro in that salary for nothing? They'd have to actually want those players. That's why. All right. Here we go. With that being said, I will say this, man. We appreciate everybody in here for pulling up on your boy G Bush in the Barbershop. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Wherever you're at. If you're on Twitter, make sure you follow me at GBush91 on Twitter. If you are part of the Barbershop crew, you already know what it is. We up. Thank you so much from everybody. We're doing numbers over there, over 18,000. We moving major numbers because of you guys. And UCSS, we appreciate you. Watch us every single Saturday. Right here from 9 to 11. And if you want to watch UCSS, it's from 11 to 1, Monday through Friday. We're doing great numbers over there, over 60,000, pushing towards 75,000 because of you guys, right? Because you guys, if you know, you know. One thing we got to get out of here before we go, we always say this in the Barbershop. Barbershop is about sports, music, and culture. But the best part of the Barbershop is you, the people that come in, that have a fair exchange of thoughts, and you come in to get the real. Listen, it ain't about all that other fluffy stuff. If you want the fluffy stuff, there's a lot of other channels out there. But for here, we tell the truth. And for you guys, we appreciate you. With that being said, I keep the Clippers with me. And if you want a fresh take on sports, make sure you hit up the Barbershop. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and thank you to all those service members, all those people that paid the ultimate sacrifice for me to speak, say, do, and live the way we live here in the United States of America, which is still the best country in the world. With that being said, we appreciate you. Have a great weekend. And as always, go Browns, go Guards, go Cavs. Peace.
Quality, service, atmosphere. You're next in the chair. Feel at home in the Barbershop. G. Bush offers a fresh cut on sports. The Barbershop isn't just grooming for guys. It's culture, it's lifestyle, it's sports. And it's now the Barbershop is giving the sports scene a sheer shave and shine. Join the makeover now. Follow Garrett Bush at GBush91 on Twitter.